We have breaking news coming out of Husky practice this week, and it's not going to be news anybody ever wants to hear, but it's just something that happens as throughout the week of practice, we got into the contact drills, and running back Martin Elena wanted to practice more out of the backfield, becoming a better receiving back, and he felt like if he could do that, he would get more time on the field as he had kind of been phased into that number 3 running back role, only seeing a couple of touches and primarily playing on special teams. He's a player that everybody has vouched for, wanting to see more. Everybody loves Martin Elena, and they want to see this 2-star running back who just walked onto the team really get more opportunities. And unfortunately for him, a major injury did take place during these drills and during these practice plays, as you'll be seeing it in a second here, as Martin Elena was carted off the field due to a devastating hit to his knees. And it's a play that you're going to see right up next as Elena came out of the backfield catching a screen, and linebacker Miles Graham basically just torpedoed into his legs, and he stayed down. Cart had to come out, and the team was very much devastated about that, and a lot of ripple effects came from that in the coming practices as Jalen Leanne, Roxy Kennedy, a lot of these guys tried to really rally the team because the mood was very somber. One of your favorite players got hurt, and it was a guy really trying to fight for opportunities, and you want to see this team pull together, but of course, as if it couldn't be that simple, Cash Riley had to take issue with Jalen Leanne stepping up and trying to be the leader. And Cash Riley, I'm the quarterback, I'm the leader, I'm the guy you should be going to, and it sparked a little bit of an argument between Jalen Leanne and Cash Riley. And as you can see throughout the highlights of practice, Cash Riley's been isolating Jalen Leanne out of any targets throughout practice, no matter how open he gets, no matter what the situation or the play is. Leanne hasn't been seeing the ball. He's gotten 0 catches in practice throughout the entirety of the remaining sessions. Riley holds a little bit of resentment due to the fact that Jalen Leanne has had basically the red carpet rolled out for him. He's been the guy since day one, the star, the one everybody turns to, helped get his sister into college as well, got to skip practice once a week last season to go take care of his sister, had special accommodations, special amendments, and he has been really frustrated with that, and it finally boiled over to the point where he was saying, we don't need you to succeed. I can succeed without you. And it's more Cash Riley just saying me, not we. And Cash Riley, you hope that he doesn't isolate Jalen Leanne once it comes to game time. Maybe he's just going to be a little petty in practice, but you hope once the game is underway like we are right now against Akron, it's not going to result in Jalen Leanne, who's had an incredible start to the season, being iced out. But right now, Miles Kendrick has a 50-yard grab, and Miles Kendrick seeing the ball go his way as the handoff for Roxy Kennedy gets 2 yards. But Cash Riley, I mean, you were hoping that things were going to get better for him this season. Remember, we said at the start of the season, he said all the right things. He acted the way that we wanted him to, but it's a matter of saying things only goes so far. Can you actually reflect that in your behavior, your performance, and everything like that? And at least for the first 3 weeks, it was okay, not major blow-ups, but now, as Roxy Kennedy runs into the end zone, you see Jalen Leanne basically iced out of that drive, and even though the ground game gets the job done, and Roxy Kennedy's going to be playing hard for his best friend, Martin Elena, who the two have grown really close, but it's going to be a really tense situation, especially as we get updates throughout the coming weeks about Martin Elena's injury, his diagnosis, and all the things that will have to happen. But obviously, he's going to be shut down for the season. We know at least it is going to be a season-ending knee injury. We don't know the further extent of it. We will probably in about a week or so. But the defense gets a 3-and-out. And Lee Orlando gets the football now, as we're really going to lean on this ground game. The passing game is going to be a little spotty, potentially, if Riley's going to hold that grudge, as Leanne, that was a pass headed his way, but that was a very contested grab, and you can see Leanne was wide open in the flats out there, and a play that usually goes his way. Instead, it gets delivered for a first down. You could say, well, maybe he just missed him that one time, but we'll keep our eyes on that as things continue to develop, as Roxy Kennedy is going to go right up the middle for an 8-yard gain. And it would be a big win to go to 3-1 and just try to ease some of the fire that has been started in the locker room, as Cash Riley at least has played well so far in the start of this game, as Riley throws it back the other way. Wide open, Leo Orlando out of the backfield, and a touchdown for the Huskies. And maybe trying to ease that somber mood amongst the fans and locker room. 14-0 as it is Akron ball. They go with a little end around, and he's stopped in the backfield. 3rd down and 12 as they're going to step up, throw it underneath, and that pass going to be well short of the line. And if you want another update on the defensive side of the football, because, you know, there was 2 sides of that Martin Elena injury. Miles Graham, who's the guy who hit him, this team's arguably best player at times. Roxy Kennedy going out for a 1st down carry, but there's not really much of any heat on a guy like Miles Graham. He feels terrible about the situation. Obviously, he's not trying to be a dirty player or inflict injury. I think everybody understands that. So, you know, it should have been one of these situations where, you know, just things happen, football happens, and you move on, you try to fight harder. But of course, Cash Riley has to take issue. He's not the one people turn to. He's not the leader. And I mean, how oblivious does a guy have to be for, you know, really trying to figure out, well, why is nobody turning to me as a leader? Well, why do you think that is the case? Why do you think the guys turn to Roxy Kennedy? Why do you think the guys turn to Jalen Leanne? Why do you think they turn to these other players? He's just not been a leader up until this point, and you're missing throws like that on 3rd down, so it's not like you're producing, like, unbelievable results on the field. A holding penalty would have taken that back regardless, but it'll result in a long field goal try, and in the rain, not gonna happen. That wasn't even close. Still 14-0 as the first quarter is gonna come to an end, but special teams still a little bit of an inconsistent issue for this team on the kicking side. And the one good part that this team did have on special teams was the returning, and with no Martin Elena to be this team's return man, it's going to really take a downturn on that side too, as Akron moving the football. Best drive so far early in this game. They're going to sweep it out, and a hit from Miles Graham for a 3-yard loss. 3rd down and 4 as they're going to find an open man up high, and Holtum takes him down for a 1st, as Akron looking for their first points of the game. Good block, sealing the edge, and the receiver even did his job as another 1st down run into the red zone. They're going to try to sweep again, and this time the edge not sealed quite as tight as Masarena makes the tackle. 3rd down and 7. Open man right at the 1st down line. He's got him, and Akron looking to put it in the end zone. 1st and goal, handing it off, and a touchdown for Akron to cut it down to a 7-point game, as the defense finally allows something. But it's been a good job so far from this defense. How about Seti Elmira starting off the drive? We like to get him 1 to 2 design touches per game. 3rd down and 2. Riley, typical slot route that we usually throw every game, was open underneath. Instead, he holds it, throws it to Jackson Warren, and it's picked off by Akron. And that is one of those plays where we've ran that 100 times, it feels like. A little double cross and Jalen Leanne lining up in the slot, usually on that pattern, and he'll get open across the field. Sometimes we line up guys like Gary Givens in that spot, but he just seemed to ignore that and go to Jackson Warren, as the defense does come up with a 3rd down stop, and a field goal try is going to be good. But that's one of those plays where, Riley, you just got to throw it to your usual read. Roxy now takes the handoff in a 14-10 game, runs over a defender, and Roxy Kennedy running hard. 67 yards in this 1st half. Don't want to overlook how good he's been, as Miles Kendrick gets a completion to him for a gain of 10. 2nd catch for Kendrick as Riley blitz off the edge. Kennedy picks it up, and Jackson Warren with room to run, and Warren to the 23-yard line. Now under center, dropping to throw it as Riley pump fake to Leanne, takes a sack. 3rd and 16 now. Riley looking, and he's got the check down underneath. Warren not able to run through a defender. Nice open field tackle. He'll get 8. Instead, he'll set up for a field goal, but it's another spot. He's missed Leanne open. He's pump fake to him. Just really not wanting to throw to Leanne. It's just, you didn't think he'd be petty going into a game and really hurt this team's chances of winning. And while the team is winning right now against an inferior opponent, You can't be playing around like this. You just can't do that. It's going to cost you. And it is still a one-score game with under 2 minutes to go. Sullivan gets in, hits him. Incomplete pass forces the punt. And now we'll see if NIU can get any points before the end of this half. 1:10 to play. Leanne in motion. They go option where they usually pitch it out to Leanne. Riley instead takes the loss. And now 3rd and 9. Kendrick first down. And another spot where you got to get the ball to Leanne. I don't know why you're holding this grudge. And Jackson Warren now out of the RPO. His 5th catch of the game. I guess Warren seeing his targets go up. Riley just opts to run for the first down. Again, could have thrown that ball. Instead, he just takes it himself. Same result, I guess. But I mean, there are other options that are more preferred as Riley. A lot of time. Offensive line, phenomenal job. And Gary Givens open. Down to the 2. Gain of 37. Riley's over 200 yards in the first half. And Kennedy finishes off the drive with a touchdown. 24-10. And Cash Riley's message, basically, you know, to paraphrase, was we don't need Jalen Leanne as much as we think we do. We can do it with just me and the rest of the guys. I guess they're doing it now, but it would make it a whole lot easier if you just threw to Leanne. 12 seconds to go, and a deep shot for Akron. And gets his, and breaks the tackle. Touchdown, Goodwin. And Akron, basically at the halftime buzzer, is going to get a touchdown in 2 plays. And we're going into the half 24-17 in a high-scoring game as the offense, despite Jalen Leanne not doing much of anything after having the performances that he's been having to start the season, it's 24 points on the board as the defense takes the field first, and Reed gets in the backfield for a loss. 3rd down and 7 for Akron. Pressure's in, and a sack, the first of the career of Prince Serentine. He subs in as a rotational pass rusher, gets about 20 snaps a game, gets his first career sack, and we're happy to see that. Now Abamanu, as we go through the weeks, we're going to be seeing a lot more of the wide receiver Abamanu. He's taking over the returning duties, and he's going to be rotating more as a number 3 receiver as well. Roxy Kennedy taking the carry, and Roxy's having an awesome game as now tossing it out. Lee Orlando, Elmira hits the block on the edge, and Orlando, touchdown! Lee Orlando, this running back duo, I mean, you know, we're sorry to Martin Elena. If there was a position, though, that we were equipped to handle a big-time loss, running back was the spot. Orlando and Roxy are a great duo. You can say maybe the best duo in the entire conference in the backfield. 31-17 your score as the pass outside. 3rd down and 3. It's stopped. And that is going to be NIU football again, where Lee Orlando takes the carry. And he'll have 5 yards on the play. Riley to the air. 2nd down and 5. They're going to go Leanne's way. And again, I mean, not a great pass, more just kind of setting him up. Leanne's got a couple targets this game, but none of them have been good targets. The defense gets the stop for Akron as 4th and 1. NIU, you know, pretty aggressive team. It feels like with a 31-17 lead halfway through the 3rd, they don't need to force a 4th and 1 attempt. They can trust their defense. And a deep shot. Flag is down. And Holton and Alea were down there. Knock it away. Flag is going to be on Akron for a hold on 3rd down. We're going to decline that. Take the football back. And Riley spreads the field. 5 wide in the pattern. Riley gets sacked. 2nd and 17 as Riley to the air. And he's going to throw over the middle. Kendrick first down, and a flag, as it hasn't been the 11 penalties that we suffered last week, the highest in Coach Easy's tenure at NIU. But still, a couple of penalties here and there. That one, maybe the most costly one so far. Screen was set up, and that is just ridiculous. A screen, I know it's 3rd and 27, but a screen was set up for Leanne, and Riley didn't even want to throw the screen to Leanne. He just threw it out to Kennedy. I mean, odds are you're not picking up the first down regardless, but still, you could throw it. 3rd and inches, and the handoff. Nope, read option, and quarterback keeping it, breaking a tackle, and take it 2. He's going to get the first. Holton brings him down. It's not a big gain, but 2 broken tackles is great to see. Your quarterback, your team still fighting. Later on in this 3rd quarter, they go end around and spinning out of the way of Reed, but he still makes the tackle, loss of 3. Good job from Reed, just holding the contain there and getting the great pursuit angle. 4th down and 5. Now the situation, they're not able to to kick a long field goal in the rain. Riley now play action, throws it underneath for Miles Kendrick. He's seen Leanne. He's coming across the field, was open down the field. 3rd down and 2, going with the draw. Kennedy breaks off a tackle, and Roxy just creates a 1st down out of nothing. And Roxy keeping the ball. He's running it hard for Martin Elena. It's the hardest we've seen him run all season, as it's been a very much a split rotation, not a whole lot of, 20-plus carry games to go around, as Riley, I think that might have been the biggest career run of Cash Riley's career. I think it was 19 yards. This play action, incomplete pass in the dirt. As now last play of the 3rd quarter, 3rd and 10. Riley underneath for Miles Kendrick, and a 1st down inside the red zone to the 15. Kendrick's over 100, toss it out. Roxy Kennedy cuts it back inside, and turning that into a 6-yard gain. He's over 100 on the day. Riley hands it to Lee Orlando for a loss of 1. 3rd and 5. Riley, middle, Kendrick with his 6th grab. And at least it's been a good day for Miles Kendrick. 2nd and goal. Pass is caught. Jackson Warren, touchdown. And without Jalen Leanne being a dominant ball catcher, getting his 10-plus targets a game, I mean, Jackson Warren and Miles Kendrick have both had 6-plus catches, as there's an interception on the field. It's Aurelius Aritz along the sidelines. The flag is going to be on Akron. Obviously, we're declining that, but Aurelius Aritz, the true freshman, both of our true freshman defenders making plays. Jalen Leanne is going to get an end around, finally trying to get him the ball. I mean, you have to hand it to him. He got 4 yards. Kennedy on the carry, not going to get there 4th and inches. This one we are going to go for. Kennedy to the edge, and he's not quite going to get it. Not enough speed. But man, Aurelius Aritz having a great start to his freshman season. What a recruit he was to get for us if he's able to continue to play like that. He has a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, now an interception. Prince Sarentine got his first career sack, as both of those true freshmen that are seeing significant playing time are really putting in some work for us, and they're only going to continue to get better and better. Akron with just 2 minutes to go, down by 21. Not looking like any sort of comeback is going to happen, but they want to find the end zone at least, as they're inside the 10 and down to the 7. Make it 2nd and goal from the 3 with a 1.5 to go. A lot of time in the pocket, not a whole lot of pass rush, and he'll finally throw it, and it's a touchdown for Akron, as they are going to try the onside kick. It is scooped up, and that is going to probably do it. You see new 3rd-string running back DeMar Coker in the game, as he's going to take some of the cleanup carries, and Coker is going to get 14. He's basically taken over the spot as number 3 running back from Martin Elena, and he does a good job on his first career carry. 2nd and 1 for the game, basically. Elmira on the dive gets it through for the 1st down, and a 38-24 win. Cash Riley, well, he did it his way, I suppose. And it puts you in a really odd dilemma here, because if this blows up in your face and you lose the game because of it, then that's where you think about benching or disciplining. But you go out there and you win the game, and you win the game by having a great offensive showing. You know, the run game was the primary thing, but passing game was good. Maybe it could have been better if you threw it to Leanne more, but you're in a weird spot. It's a really weird spot. But Roxy Kennedy runs for 106 and 2 touchdowns. Orlando 76 and a touchdown. And Miles Kendrick 100 yards. Warren 64 yards. And Jalen Leanne a single catch for 3 yards on the game. That is definitely the least productive game in the career of Jalen Leanne up until this point. I mean, you seen what he was able to do in the first 16 games of his career, basically. 100 yards and a touchdown very often was happening. And today, it's just 3 yards. But that goes back to what Cash Riley's overall message is. You're not as special as you think you are. You're not the leader. I think you're looking now at discipline and saying, well, you're now isolating one of our, if not our best player out of the game. You're hurting our chances of winning. Yeah, we won last week, but you can't keep doing that. But the possibilities, this is not a situation where you bench the guy, you discipline him, maybe you go back to him. I think you know, with the track record of Cash Riley and the type of person, the type of human being he is, the type of way he takes certain actions happening against him, it feels like if you bench Cash Riley, there's no going back. If you sit him down, I don't think you'll ever be able to put him back in. I think he'd be in full sabotage mode or self-sabotaging, because, I mean, he does a lot of self-sabotaging, but I think he would be in full petty, resentful mode. This isn't a guy you can just flip a switch and go back to at any moment's notice, so it's why it's maybe taken time, but maybe that day does come where that gets benched, but you're sitting here at 3-1, and just keep on moving forward and hope this isn't a lingering thing between him and Jalen Leanne. But let's move on to prospect scouting, because we have more prospects to talk about. And I guess today has been pretty heavy on the running back news. So let's go with a running back, Bobby Jennings from Nebraska, who is basically your just home run hitting, agile running back who's got the speed, breakaway level sprinter speed that Bobby Jennings possesses. He's a guy, once you get him into the open field, you put a one-on-one in the open field with a touchdown in front of him and only one defender in his way. A lot of the times he's going to get that touchdown. He is able to go and just jet by defenders and make moves in ways that not a lot of other running backs at the 4- and 5-star level are able to do. But because of that, this is a guy who doesn't often see a heavy workload, doesn't have a lot of carries under his belt, which is good and bad. You know, not a lot of tread on the tires, but also at the same time, can he handle a full workload? Can he be a guy who gets 20+ carries? He's never really had to do that. He's been in a split back rotation, you know, a little bit of thunder and lightning type of situation. And teams are looking for players like this with the success of what the Lions did. It's a copycat league, and it trickles down to the college level and the high school level as well. Everyone wants to emulate what teams do, and with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, everyone's kind of looking for their little thunder and lightning, their smash and dash combo. And this is the dash, this is the lightning, this is the speedy home run hitter. But when you get a player like this, you get some drawbacks. The vision is very spotty at times. You get a player who's maybe a little bit too much big play hunting, big play chasing at times, and he does hit some really big shots, but also once the lanes start tightening, once the defenders are a little bit faster, stronger, the blocking doesn't hold up as well, is he able to do the job to the fullest extent and, you know, not have a lot of -3, -4 yard carries once you get him on the edge? Can he make defenders miss at the higher level? Can he do all of that stuff? Or will his vision never really materialize and you get stuck in the low ends? You don't get, you know, the Jahmyr Gibbs or in college, like the Travion Hendersons. You get the DeAndre Swifts. You get those types of players who are just frustrating. You also get unsurprising drawbacks, things like pass blocking. It's not going to be good. He can catch the football, but that's about it. And also his power profile isn't really there. He's not a powerful runner. He is just a make you miss in the open field, catch the football in the backfield. He won't provide much at all in terms of blocking or anything like that. So Bobby Jennings, definitely a running back by committee type of back who's going to be really exciting for a team to pick up in a split back system. But we move on now to go on the road to take on Kent State. And the Flash is busting out the light blues. Really pretty jerseys that they got here. And we'll see if this Kent State team is able to take us down in MAC play, as it is a battle. 2 3-1 teams. Their opener in the conference. Ours, we are 1-0. So this is our second game in the conference. And we'll see if we can take an early 2-0 MAC lead to put us, you know, right in that conversation for a MAC title appearance. As Martin Elena, we have an update on him throughout the week. He got, you know, a lot of tests done. It's a torn MCL, ACL, meniscus, and a dislocated kneecap. So yeah, I said it wasn't going to be just a simple knee injury. It wasn't going to be just a standard run-of-the-mill ACL tear, not to diminish that, but I said it was going to be a lot more than that, and it's bad. I think the closest comparison I can really give you, if you want to know what an injury like that really is, and this is even still the most extreme examples. If you remember a guy like Marcus Lattimore for South Carolina, a guy who was really awesome, you know, 10, 15 years ago, and was just so fun. And he basically tore every ligament in his knee, dislocated his kneecap, got nerve damage, and despite being a guy who projected to be a special running back at the NFL level, was never able to really play in the NFL. So we're going to hope that that's not the case for a guy like Martin Elena. We've advanced a lot in terms of medicine, science, surgery, all that stuff. It's a 2025, 2026, 2027. We're in these years where medicine is a little bit better now, and surgeries, you can really correct some stuff like that, but we wonder if he'll ever be the same again, especially since his play style was that of an explosive, speedy runner. Will he ever have that again? I guess if you want positives here, he did only play 3 games this season, so he does apply for a red shirt. He can get that medical red shirt, and I mean, you're looking at a guy who he can get a red shirt this year since he didn't play enough games. He could apply for maybe a medical red shirt because I don't even think he'll be ready to play for next year. He could have a long college career, but the question isn't really about will he ever play again, can he play again. It's just more about him and his life, and can he walk properly? Can he do life properly outside of football? So it's going to be a rough road to recovery for him, but we're going to hope that things come out as good as possible, as good as they possibly can, and we're going to be on his side throughout the whole thing. But we're going to have to just focus on what we can control right now and what we can control going forward. That is the schedule, the teams in front of us, and try to do the best that we can to win for Martin Elena and make his efforts that he has put in, the hard work that he has done, be worth it. It's been a pretty uneventful first quarter up until this point. 8 minutes gone, couple of penalties back and forth for these teams, couple of 3-and-outs, and Huskies will take the football right now as Kennedy on the draw will have himself a gain of 3 as we go to 2nd down and 7. Riley has a wide open Leanne underneath. He's just sitting there waiting for it. Instead, Riley runs it for 6, and then the dive, Elmira first down. So one of those things where you get the first down at the end of the day, but it's just the wrong play to make. It's the wrong thing, and it's petty. It's ridiculous as Riley gets hit as he's throwing 3rd down and 10, and he'll throw. Riley moving, throwing up top, intercepted, wanted Warren, and it's picked off by Kent State, and they'll have it at the 46-yard line. So great field position, and Riley throwing a pick, and something that he has been prone to doing in certain situations where he starts forcing things. And at what point do they just give up on Riley as the pass over the middle? It's a Rich back-to-back weeks with an interception, and this true freshman is coming on strong here in the first half of the year. Aurelius Aritz, what a pickup, and we'll take the football right back. And he bails out Cash Riley in a major way. Riley to the air. He's got time. He's looking, and that ball to Leanne, but over his head. And I don't want to accuse him of anything, but there you go. Leanne was wide open. You had to give it to him, but it's just felt like every ball thrown to Leanne has been conveniently inaccurate. Even the one he just caught was a little low and behind him, as Kennedy with the football on the ground, gain of 8, 2nd down and 2, as Orlando is gonna power through. 1st down, they give it to him. 2nd down and 6 now is Riley, short drop, he's gonna move right, he's got Warren wide open, Jackson Warren inside the 10, down to the 8, and Riley looking for the lead. Quick pass, Gary Gibbons fighting to the 1-yard line. When you got it at the 1, you got all these talented backs, but they're actually going to throw it to the outside, and Miles Kendrick, touchdown. And it's 7-0, and I guess one person who's benefiting big time from this is Miles Kendrick, as Alea and Holton down there to make the deflection, but Miles Kendrick having a big week last week and now this week with a touchdown as Kent State keeps their drive moving. It's Jawan Johnson, the quarterback at Kent State, and he's gonna go read option keeper, and Johnson, he's a big time running threat. You're gonna be seeing a lot of that from him, but it's not gonna get enough for the 1st down there as Leo Orlando takes the football for this NIU team as he runs through a defender and gets the 1st down. 2nd down and 10, Warren catch and a 9-yard gain to make it 3rd and 1. They're gonna go play action. They're gonna throw it and flip it out to Warren, and another person who's benefiting from the Leanne lack of targets is Jackson Warren. He's come on to have a good couple of weeks now as Riley hands it. Kennedy with a big lane opened up, and Roxy to the outside. He tried to make a big cut for a bigger gain, but we'll still take 12 yards on a 1st down as the play action. Wide open in the flats, Seti Almira, 1st down, and everybody getting involved except Leanne as Orlando on the sweep. He's got room. Orlando to the 11, and it's a new set of downs. Riley to the air, blocking is gonna break down, and eventually he gets sacked as it's 3rd and 20 from the 21. Flag is down, and Riley's just going to keep it out of bounds. I mean, you know what? I actually can't even fault that one. Don't put it in harm's way, especially with the flag. He must have at least had some sort of awareness that the flag was coming. 3rd down and 30 as Abomineu on the screen is going to get just 6 yards. But even those design screens that usually go to Leanne in those situations just to see if you can give him a big play, I mean, they're not even going to him anymore. So we go to halftime, and it's NIU 10-0 over Kent State. So once again, it's not been ideal when it comes to the chemistry and the targeting of your best player and all that stuff, but the defense is playing great and the offense is doing what they need to do to win this game so far, at least, as 3rd down and 5 hits. Kent State not wanting to go 3 and out immediately. Johnson to the air is going to throw over the head of everybody and incomplete, and the offense for the Huskies take over. Roxy is going to have 9 on the play. And now 2nd and 1. They go Abomineu on the outside. Abomineu makes the catch. Spins off a defender. And Abomineu has got speed. He is gone. 67 yards. And a big play in the young career of Abomineu, getting a little bit more opportunities. And once again, he was in that slot role. That is a little interesting, as some shifting around has happened. Leanne, I don't want to say he's been cut out of the offense, but something's clearly going on here, and it's really frustrating. You could tell Leanne is not loving this. His body language has still stayed mostly positive, and he's still rooting on his teammates, but doing a bunch of cardio isn't going to be really good for anybody, as that's a great play from Moritz on an underthrown ball, though, as Seti Elmira on the screen, not going to get anything. He'll lose 2 yards, but I mean, just cardio really for Leanne. He'll be in motion there. Go to Elmira, and this time it's Elmira making a catch down the field for a 1st down. And there's his 2 catches on the day, back-to-back. Riley underneath. There's Miles Kendrick, 3rd down and inches. I mean, how much can you really complain? Because the offense is playing pretty well. It's weird, but it's so far working for the most part, but it doesn't need to be this difficult. It really doesn't need to be like this. How many points would you have if you did throw to the open Leanne? How many points would you have if you did make the right reads? 4th down and 10. It's going to be a punt, and Kent State's just got nothing going. And Abomineu on the return, he already had the big 67-yarder on the air. And now on the punt return, a nice return to the 40-yard line. So Abomineu seeing some more action, and he's really making the most of it. And I feel like that's been the story of these last 2 games, is more opportunities for other players, and I guess these other players are showing that they can handle the load, which we love to see. We love to see Miles Kendrick be an 100-yard receiver. We love to see a guy like Abomineu making plays like that. A big contested grab inside the 5. We love seeing Leo Orlando put it in the end zone. We love seeing Prince Sarentine get a sack. We love seeing Aurelius Ritz get 2 interceptions in back-to-back games. We love seeing this. But you can't help but really feel like there's just this divide between Jalen Leanne and maybe this team at this point because of them isolating him. And it's not really the team isolating him, it's just Cash Riley. And what do you do as Leanne? You got to be a good team player. You're winning 24-0 right now. You got to be a good team player, and that's always what he's been. Always what he has been. But it's got to be frustrating. A star wide receiver not touching the football is always frustrating, because wide receiver is about the most dependent position in the entire sport of football. You could be as great as the best in the game, but it doesn't matter, as Kent State finally finds the end zone. But as a receiver, you could be the best you can possibly be, but it doesn't matter if you don't get schemed, if you don't get thrown the ball, if nothing goes your way. Kent State gets the 2-point conversion, so it's 24-8, and that means it's a 2-score game, but still, it doesn't really feel like Kent State is got much of a chance in this one with the way NIU is playing. Another 1st down run from Kennedy is going to lead to a throw, and Riley, maybe he could have tried that down the field for Abomineu, but he didn't. He just ran it for the 1st down. They'll take it. End around Leanne. Again, another attempt by the coaching staff to just throw him a bone, and he's going to lose 6 on the play. Riley over the middle. That's Warren on the catch, and Warren's got the 1st down. 5 more catches for Jackson Warren today, as Riley is going to pass up on an open Leanne, and he's instead going to go down the field, and it's intercepted. He wanted Miles Kendrick. Instead, Kent State might get a faint opportunity in this one with 7 minutes to play. as they're gonna go with Johnson handing it off, and a big run after the shedded tackle again. A 16 at midfield, close to it. He'll get to the outside, gets past Miles Graham, and he's all the way to the 33-yard line. And Kent State, if they can find the end zone, it would be massive. Putting it up top and knocked away by Trevor Holton, who's making more good plays, but a little sneak's gonna get Kent State the first down. 5 minutes to play, clock running. Big hit tried, not going to happen, but Shaq Alba finishes the job for a loss of 5. Johnson is gonna hit the curl, and Holton brings him down, gain of 11. 3rd down and 4 for Johnson. Blitz sent in, and a quick hit right to the back. Alea, nice job jarring that ball loose. 4th down and 4. Johnson looking wide open, man underneath, and it will be a first down to the 5-yard line as Kent State looking, throwing underneath. He's hit at the goal line basically, and down to the 1. Another sneak in. Johnson gets it into the end zone. Onside kick, as oddly, I mean, I don't get it, but Kent State didn't want to go for 2 for some reason. It remains a 9-point game, and Roxy is going to have 3.5 minutes. Him and Orlando gonna have time to maybe run out this clock as Riley throws the pass to Gary Gibbons. 4th down and 1, and they're gonna go for it. We don't hate the call here. Orlando step forward and a first down. What a run from Orlando in a clutch situation. Now toss it to Orlando. He's gonna lose yards, but regardless, you're gonna make them burn time and make them burn timeouts as Roxy gonna get it to 3rd down and 9. Play action. Riley looking for the game. He's just gonna throw one high, and too high for the 6'8" Jackson Warren, and it'll instead be 4th down. So really, I guess no harm done by Kent State not going for 2, because the field goal basically makes it a similar situation regardless. I mean, it could have been a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal, but I mean, regardless, you're looking at a spot where you need an onside kick anyway. It's still a 2-score game. You're going to need to find the end zone probably. 3rd down and 8. They're throw a 1 deep, 1-on-1, and it's incomplete. 4th down, and the game on the line. Kent State looking to salvage a miracle comeback. They got an open man down the field, and the game not over yet. They got 90 seconds to play, and from the red zone, Johnson is going to go with the underneath pass. He's not going to be able to get out of bounds, so keep the clock running. But, I mean, it really doesn't matter with the clock running. They have to get the onside kick. They're out of timeouts. Pass is going to be caught, but there's a flag down, and this is a hold. NIU really playing that umbrella defense, just trying to get them in the field to play, not allow anything crazy to happen, don't allow any quick scores, just tackle them in bounds, just like that, and make them go to 3rd down and 7. 50 seconds to play. Johnson sending everybody except the running back to the end zone, and with a flag down, you can't have a play last that long, as once again, NIU not really playing for pass rush, or just playing top-down defense, trying to get him to throw in the field of play, and it's going to be another hold, and then you will decline the penalty. 4th and 7 as Johnson is looking, and he's going to get a little bit of pressure. He's going to scramble, and he's not going to get the first down, and the Huskies improve to 4-1 on the season. And this is just a weird situation because you're 4-1, and there's just this sense of unease on the team, as Riley does, once again, what he needs to do to win the game. He goes and throws 2 interceptions, but 238 yards, 2 touchdowns, has an okay day, and the run game was awesome. Both running backs 5+ yards a carry on 13 and 14 carries, but Jalen Leanne had 2 rushing attempts for -4 yards. They tried to do something with him and get him the football in ways that they can't, have Riley disrupt it, but it just didn't really work. And then in the passing game, Riley only finds Leanne once for 17 yards. Abominu goes for 89 on a touchdown. Warren 64 yards. Kendrick finds the end zone. But man, it's just weird. Something's just not right with this, and you're really in a weird spot because you're looking for that excuse to be like, okay, well, Riley is just failing this team, and he's being a bad teammate, he's being a bad person, he's doing this, and while some of that is definitely true, obviously, they're winning. And do you want to disrupt a winning team right now? Do you want to throw a wrench in that? What do you do there? We'll continue to see how this develops as we move on to talking about the Comella twins, because it was a big week for the twins as JJ, starting at Minnesota, had his biggest win of his career so far. Minnesota has started the season really hot as they went on the road to take on a number 23 ranked USC team, and JJ Comella puts up the big time performance. 302 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also, look at this spectacular play where he's just running around the pocket, doing some wild stuff and looking a little bit like a quarterback who played at USC. Caleb Williams with that crazy extension and running around and just throwing off angles, and crazy good play. Gets them into the end zone later on that drive where, you know, this big game for Minnesota where, you know, they're obviously like kind of underdogs in this Big Ten conference with the big guys like USC and Oregon coming over, and along with Ohio State, Michigan. You know, Minnesota's really finding their way this year, and it's because of JJ Comella putting up great performances, and with that, a win on the road against that ranked team. In Minnesota now, just 1 loss on the season so far, and taking out a ranked opponent. Then we move over to the brother. How about TJ Comella, who we haven't really talked much about, but it was a tag team duo of a performance. A dominant win over Iowa as him and Coco Reynolds had a really big coming out party. Comella goes for 377, including this beauty here to Coco Reynolds down the field. A perfect pass, and Coco Reynolds, it's going to take it into the end zone. He goes for 101 and a touchdown, so accounts for a big chunk of Comella's production. But I mean, TJ was on the money against an Iowa defense, which is terrifying if he can go and do this against an Iowa defense for a victory, as he goes 27 of 32, 377, and that 3rd touchdown to get him a victory. So him and Coco Reynolds, the true freshman, are really just connecting big time. And there was another completion to Reynolds. That was his other big play on the day, as both of these brothers are performing well. We see JJ in the coming weeks, and we'll see if we can go and take out, you know, that brother. We haven't obviously ran into TJ yet, and we won't be doing that anytime soon, but the brothers have been as advertised so far, and we're going to continue to see if they can find their way into the top 25 as we head into the final game of today's action against Toledo. When these two teams faced off previously, it was a fun encounter that went to overtime, a really high-scoring battle, and we'll see if it can be just like that. Toledo, 2nd-ranked rush defense in the MAC. It's a really big-time matchup for us because running the ball has kind of been our thing. It's what we do. Orlando and Roxy, 5 yards a carry, it feels like, every single game. As Cash Riley gets sacked, they go 3 and out, but taking on a great rushing defense, will we have to lean on the passing game more? And if so, what does that mean? What does it mean to lean on the passing game more? Does it mean Cash Riley is going to put the ball in harm's way as Reed gets a sack? We know how this Toledo team likes to operate, though, as they go running. Brevin Dahl, this team, last time we played them, very heavy on the passing, so you're going to see a lot of quarterback. Lunch Winfield taking a shot to the end zone, and he had Dahl open, but it just went over his head. Field goal try is up and good, and an early lead for Toledo as they go on the offense now. NIU, Roxy Kennedy on the carry, and he'll get 4 yards on the play as Martin Elena, you could see up there, successful surgery to repair and reconstruct his knee. So while the surgery was a success, it's a long road of recovery for him, and once again we'll be on his side for that as Toledo takes the football back after the 3 and out from NIU as Lunch Winfield hands it off, and Dahl in the backfield loses a yard. 3rd down and 11 for Winfield, spreading the field. He's got time on a 4-man rush. Winfield throwing on the run, and that's caught! Ritz was there, perfect position, put his hands up, and it just went through it, I guess. I mean, can't play it much better, but Dahl making a play, and then on the run does a phenomenal job to get 8 as they go back to him. And Prince Sarentine with the tackle for loss. Loss of 1 as it's 3rd and 3. And Dahl was open, but it was missed. Winfield, already 2 big misses on Dahl, and that's just brutal as the field goal is good. It'll be 6-0, but this game could easily be 14-0 right now as Kennedy on the big run. Gonna get him to 1st and 10 from the 38. As is gonna throw it up top, 1-on-1. Jackson Warren rails it in, gets past the defense, and Jackson Warren, he might not be the fastest, but he had just enough to get to the end zone. And a 62-yard touchdown for Jackson Warren, as it's 7-6 just like that. Huskies on top as the dig screen gonna be for the receiver. Toledo got the first as Marion Lang has it as play action now for Winfield. He'll step up, he'll go to Dahl, and a lot of targets for the running back Brevin Dahl. He's been often the guy, screen for him, and he gets a first down. At least the hurdle over a down defender had to take him out of bounds as Dahl in the sweep. Now he's done it on the ground as Brevin Dahl. He is just the engine for this offense. 6 carries, 35 yards, also like 4 catches already as Dahl to the edge once more. Spin move and inside the 10. How about Brevin Dahl? Keep it to him, why not? As he's getting blown up in the backfield. Chambliss finishes him off as it's 3rd down and goal for Winfield. He's got time, sending the extra man, and it's a touchdown. KK Smith got it in, and a lead for Toledo 13-7 as a flag is down on the Gary Givens first down. And this is a familiar sight, not as egregious as Colorado, but seems like you get those 3 calls a game on holding, so we'll at least take 3 instead of 11, but it's 1st and 20. Riley, he's gonna run for it, and Cash Riley, not a fast player, 19 yards though. First quarter coming to an end. Kennedy on the sweep, he's got the first down, and Roxy gets 5. Second quarter underway as Riley to the air, and he's looking, and he throws it right at a defender. It's intercepted. And I think a miscommunication there between him and Jackson Warren on the block and release. Riley was seemingly thinking he was going to go one way, and Warren went another, and just, I don't know what that was, but it was clearly mistimed and miscommunicated as now Toledo takes over. And they have the football in the red zone. 3rd down and 7 for Winfield. He's going to go high over the middle, and it's caught. One of 2 tight ends Anthony Miller has. This team uses both their tight ends pretty effectively as Winfield back in the end zone. Miles Graham was there sitting on it. Picked off. And Graham, the only negative is he took it out of the end zone. He'll be at the 3-yard line, but we'll take that football right back as Kennedy on the carry. It was back-to-back weeks where Cash Riley throws a pick and the defense gets it right back on the same possession as Riley up top. Warren incomplete. As it's 3rd down and 10, they'll go with the little throwback screen, and he can't get it off. Pressure was quick, and Toledo will have great field position. 48-yard line as Dahl has 6, and we're going to hope we can really start to slow him down even more as Winfield, 2nd and 4. He's got time. Pass rush has been a little weak so far today as Winfield on the carry, keeper, and has a nice run. And Dahl is going to spin off of Reed, but it's going to make him lose yards. He loses 6. Miles Graham got in there, and it's 2nd down as Dahl sheds off a tackle, and Holton brings him down. He'll get 7, but it only brings him to 3rd and 9 as Winfield stepping up and running. Flag is down, and he's not going to get the first. He's a yard shy. And decision time for the Huskies. Do you give them 4th and 1, or do you back them up to 3rd and long? Well, the Huskies are going to opt for 4th and 1 and let Toledo kick the field goal, take their chances if they wanted to go for it, as the field goal just sneaks in the left upright. It is good, and a 2-score game as Riley is going to find an open Leanne, and I guess he was only going to throw to Jalen Leanne in the face of pressure when he was wide open, but will that be the only catch of the game for Leanne? He's had 1 catch a game the past 2 games, and there's his 1 right now. 3rd down and 7 for Riley, and there it is. Flag is down, so I guess this doesn't matter, but you seen Jalen Leanne was open, wide open over the middle, and he just didn't opt to do it. And I mean, this isn't a game where you're up by 14 or you're up 24-0. This isn't one of these games. This is a game where you need to put some points up on the board as the defense does their job 3 and out. You can't just be ignoring Leanne every play. You need points as Roxy gets 5 on the backfield catch. 2-minute warning has hit, and Riley is looking for an open man over the middle. Givens, flag down. And this is getting brutal. As I said, 3 a game for the line. Well, that's 3 in the second quarter, as this line has really just struggled to gel. Holding penalties galore as a deep pass is going to have it knocked away. And Kendrick, if it was a little more out in front, he had a chance. And Huskies will at least catch a little bit of a break here on 3rd and 15. They'll get a flag, 5-yard neutral zone infraction, and they'll get to a 3rd and 10. Can they get to the first down marker as they'll throw to Kendrick, who just flat out dropped it? That's all on Kendrick. You had a chance for a first down there. Now 1.5 minutes to go as the pressure and the spy gets him down. Miles Graham with the sack as it's 2nd down 11. Pass is caught. One of the other tight ends getting him to a 3rd and 1 as Holton in the backfield. That's a great job. NIU burns a timeout. They'll have 35 seconds from the 39. Riley has Warren underneath, and Jackson Warren gets out of bounds for 8 yards. Can they orchestrate this quick drive as they'll run it with Roxy Kennedy? And they weren't expecting the run as the first down will stop the clock for a few seconds. And Riley will keep it in the air now. And Riley rolling, throws it to Kennedy out of bounds. He goes for 7 more, looking at maybe a couple more yards for field goal range. 50 kind of feels like the limit as Abamanu coming across the formation is going to get just what we need to the 29-yard line. Riley, can you get it even closer? As Kendrick, and Kendrick is going to get out of bounds and will eventually run the football to center it, get it up, and the kick is good. So a phenomenal job at the end of the half to really get some more points up on the board, make it a 1-score game, 16-10 at half. But we've seen a couple plays already as Jalen Leanne has just been doing a lot of cardio, and it's been really frustrating, I think, especially for NIU fans wanting to see him really shine. And he's had the opportunities, they just haven't come his way because he's been open. He's had the opportunity to have the ball thrown to him, and it just hasn't happened. But the defense does a phenomenal job. 3 and out in just a minute to start the 3rd quarter. Can he have the opportunity to have the ball actually thrown to him as Riley is going to go Leanne's way and way off target on 3rd down? It's almost like intentionally off target. And I almost don't want to accuse a quarterback of intentionally missing a guy, but every pass to Leanne seems wildly off target as that pass down the field, Winfield completes it for a first down, 41-yard line, and the run to the outside, it's not Dahl, it's the other back, getting a big run, 29 yards, and now in the red zone, blitz sent up the middle, a sack by Chambliss is going to get us to 3rd and 17 for Winfield. Flag is down, and that pass over the head of the receiver, it's looking like another hold, but this one, not going to matter really. It will be declined, and Toledo will have a chance to go back up by 2 scores with the field goal. Kick is up and good once more. 9-point game, and you need to put some points up on the board because Toledo seems like they can get to field goal range every drive. If it wasn't for the fact that they've kind of stalled once they got in that range, this could be a more out of hand game, out of control game, because they've had a couple of misses in the end zone for Dahl early on. As that pass over the head of Kendrick, that's a miss. 3rd down and 8. Riley is gonna throw, and he's got a wide open man in the flats. Kennedy is gonna get the first down, breaks the tackle, and Roxy out of the backfield for 15, and the run for Orlando finds a solid hole, opening up 8 yards on the play. 3rd down and 2. Riley to the air, and he'll throw for the slant, and Kendrick can't hang on. It was a tough one to bring in. 4th down and 2. Play action. Riley is sacked, and the ball comes out, but it's not going to matter that we pick it back up. It's Toledo football, and Riley just not able to make the quick decision. Now Toledo on the other end. Deep pass knocked away, and Alea has been down there for safety help a lot, and it's been really impressive. Alea's played awesome this season. 4th down, defense forces the 3 and out. Orlando on the ground. The run game hasn't been as prevalent today. No surprise with the situation, considering Toledo's got a top rush defense in the conference. But Riley throwing it down the field. Leanne, that ball a little off, and Leanne had to try to make this acrobatic catch. He can't do it, and they'll punt the football. Jacob Harris with the catch, as him and Anthony Miller, both tight ends, very prevalent on the passing game, as the fullback on 2nd and 1 out of the backfield sneaks out and gets a big gain, as now Winfield sacked by Collins, 5th sack for the NIU defense. It's been a big day for the pass rush, as 2nd down and 16 screen is gonna get them 7, 3rd and 9, once again in field goal range, as Rugamba tries to get up there, and he can, and Rugamba got a little kind of juked out or cut out a little bit, as he doesn't have a much lateral agility to him. 3rd quarter comes to an end as a 2nd and 13 in the red zone. Winfield is gonna go with the pop pass, and it's not going to result in what seeming like was a lot of open space, but he creates it, gets 7, 3rd down and 6 for Winfield, as they'll send one up top, and that's definitely a miscommunication, as that ball goes to nobody. Field goal on its way, and this time he missed it. He already had hit 4 today, not gonna hit 5. Riley, this time Riley's finding an open man down the field. It's Obamanu, and in back-to-back weeks, Obamanu has a big touchdown. 80 yards, and just like that, Huskies are within 2. Feels like Toledo could be up by more, but they've just missed opportunities, and missing a pass there is Winfield. 2nd down and 10. A lot of time this time around. Eventually he'll throw the football, but just Miles Graham was all over it. 3rd down and 10 for Winfield. Throws it low. Incomplete. It went 8.5 to go. It's Husky football in Orlando. Get the run game going because it's a 1-score game. And that RPO should have thrown it. And it was Leanne who was there. Riley off target, like not even close for Leanne. I don't know what this is, and you don't want to accuse sabotage on a player, but like, this is egregious, and maybe it's just the chemistry isn't there, but it's just weird. As Sarentine gets him down, it's not going to go down as a sack, it'll be a 1-yard gain. 3rd down and 9, open man, and a 1st down. KK got the 1st, and it's 2nd and 9. 5.5 to go, and he's brought down, no gain. Don't know if that will go down as a sack or not, as it's going to be 5 minutes to play. 3rd and 9, and a bringing down the screen play from Trevor Holton. Another field goal is good. Keep it a 1-score game. 4.5 to go as Kennedy up the middle, just running hard and running tough. 6 yards on the play as they'll go running again. Kennedy wanting to ride the ground game to victory as Kennedy has 9 more. How about keep it on the ground for Lee Orlando? And Orlando just picking up 6 more. You got plenty of time. You can run the football as much as you want. 4 more yards and a 1st down. Midfield, hand off to Orlando, and both running backs getting involved. 6 more on the play. Hand off again. This time, not going to get it. 3rd down and 3. Riley now will finally throw it, and he had a free rusher. 4th and 10. NIU going for it. Riley, pressure in, across his body, incomplete. And the second this team went to throw the football in that drive, it just was all coming apart. The run game did amazing until they threw. And I mean, I guess you could have ran it on 3rd down and 3, but you didn't want to run it like 10 straight times, but maybe you should have. 3rd down and 13 though. Time running out. Draw play. They will get the stop. Will force the punt. And if NIU wants to win this, they got to go 95 yards with no time, as it's just 50 seconds to play. Riley, what do you got for us? Cash looking, and he's throwing. It's Jalen Leanne. And finally, he's finding Leanne. He was open, and he got it to him. Gain of 24. Riley, flag down, finds Leanne again. And Leanne with a big play, but it's not going to count. And finally, you throw it to Leanne, and looks what's happening. But the flag wipes it out. You got to go 81 yards at 35 seconds. Riley to the air. He's going to go out of the backfield for Orlando, who gets out of bounds, gets 11, 2nd down and 9. Riley throwing again, and he'll throw up for Leanne, who's got the catch but not a 1st down, as it's 3rd down and 1. 20 seconds of clock running, and maybe you have to set up for another Hail Mary situation. 16 seconds to play. Riley is looking for another receiver, but he throws an interception. One in Kendrick, and it's going the other way, and Toledo is gonna win the game as Cash Riley. It was too little too late. You can't throw the ball to Jalen Leanne in the last minute and say, save me, Jalen. You can't do that. You should have been doing it the previous 3 quarters. You should have been doing it the previous 11 quarters. You can't say, save me now. It was too little, too late. And the NIU Huskies fall to 4-2 in a very winnable game where Cash Riley plays miserably bad. 42% completion percentage, and just was not able to get much of anything done because there's not going to be games where you can just spread the ball around to everybody and everybody's going to have a good day. There's going to be days where you need to lean on your best players. There's going to be games like this where, hey, Toledo's defense is pretty solid. You need to go and lean on Jalen Leanne. You need to go and let some of your other players make plays. You just can't pick and choose who you want to throw to and when you want to throw to them. You need to throw to who's open. You need to throw to who the read says you need to throw to, what the play design is. It's frustrating. And now you don't even have the excuse of, well, they won the last 2 games and you're sitting there at 4-1. If we would have won that game, we would have been 5-1 in a really weird situation because more and more he's defying orders, but also you're winning. Decisions need to be made, and like we said, once you bench Cash Riley, there's no going back. So when do you want to do that, if you even want to do that? We'll move on to recruiting as we'll take a look at a position of need for us. Offensive line is a position that we have overhauled quite a bit. We had 4 out of 5 guys in the transfer portal come over, be new starters. Left guard is the only position that we didn't replace, and obviously on top of that, transfer portal aren't going to be 4-year fixes. These are going to be guys who are here for a year or 2. How about Byron Andino from Bluemont, Virginia, 68th guard in the country, 3 stars. And this is a guy who plays in a pass-first offense and has a lot of pass-blocking experience. But the thing that's interesting is his run blocking is really what is intriguing. This is a team that does run the ball a lot, obviously, and the run blocking is the strength. But this guy plays in a team that runs maybe 25% of the time max, but it feels like his run blocking tape is his best tape, which is really interesting, and I feel like that's why he's maybe slept on a little bit. He has really good highlight flashy plays in the run game, whereas pass blocking tape, it's fine, it's all right, it's pretty just technically sound, but I really am intrigued by the run blocking tape. And then you go to, why else is he a 3-star player? Well, he's just an okay athlete. His biggest strengths are also his biggest weaknesses. He's a solid, balanced, well-rounded athlete. He's got nice strength, nice athleticism, nice ability to him, but he's also, the upside is limited. He's not, a bulldozer. He's not a speedster. He's not a guy who gets out in space a lot. He's not a guy who, is really quick for a 300-pounder. He's just a fine athlete, but a fine athlete, it's fine by us. We don't mind. So we are really interested in Byron Andino because we think there's a lot to unlock with him in the run game. And for a guy who has so much passing blocking experience, we could use that as well. It feels like pass blocking still needs some work. Now, whether that is on Cash Riley and how long he holds the ball, or that's on the offensive line, we'll figure that out in due time. But we could really use the pass blocking help because objectively, regardless of whose fault it is, the run blocking is good on this team. Pass blocking, little spotty, but he has the experience at the very least, and I think provides a high enough floor to where maybe not true freshman starter, but could he be redshirt freshman starter? Could he be an underclassman starter in general for us? I think the answer is yes, and the teams in competition are not overly difficult, so a very possible player for us to get as we wrap things up here when decisions need to be made. Look at what Cash Riley has done. Yards per attempt in the first 3 games compared to the last 3. When he stopped throwing Leanne the ball, his yards per attempt have decisively dropped off. What do we do with Cash Riley? Because, we've said it multiple times. Once you sit him down, there's no going back. He is one of those guys where if you slight him, he'll hold that grudge. Do we cut bait? Do we give up? Do we go to the unknown? We don't know what the backups on this team are going to look like. We have no clue what that is. None of those guys have ever played. What does that look like? It's rough. Roy Tiffin would be the guy we potentially go to. Is it worth, burning that bridge? Is it worth it? Or do we say we're 4-2? We're 4-2 on the season, and hey, we're on pace to go 8-4. Do we just roll with it and hope things get better? We've been hoping things get better for a while, though, at Cash Riley. We've been hoping he gets more mature for a while now. Maybe it'll never happen. But maybe we'll just keep on having a decent record. Maybe if we go to Roy Tiffin, though, things fall apart and we lose Riley, we burn that bridge, and then we're left without anything at quarterback. It's a tough spot to be in. So let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, as I hope you guys all enjoyed. And let me know what you want the future of the quarterback room in this situation to be. Is this one step too far? Is Jalen Leanne being isolated from this team one step too far? Let me know what you think, though. I'll see you guys all in the next one.